Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Once again, we are here with Aaron, Liverpool fan from London. Aaron, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Looking forward to putting this 25-man team together.
Yes, we have 25 roster spots to fill. We are speculating who will make the first team for Liverpool for the 2024-2025 Premier League season. This is the channel that is all Liverpool all the time. It's all red. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing as we continue to build the best LFC channel in the world. All right, Aaron, let's get going. We got 25 spots to fill. We're going to start off with the goalkeeper spots here. And what I'm going to do is we are going to put a star next to the homegrown players because we need 8 of those, 8 out of 25. And so let's start with the goalkeepers. We can jump around a little bit because I'm sure we'll have question marks, but I think the goalkeeper spot should be pretty easy to fill. And let me go back to my other thing here. All right. Obviously, it's going to be Alisson in the number 1 slot here. And this will be our first conundrum, Aaron. Does Caoimhin Kelleher stay at Liverpool? What do you think?
I think he stays. I think he stays because I don't believe anyone wants to pay 25. Bizarrely, they don't want to pay 25 million for what I would consider, the best second goalkeeper possibly in world football.
Yeah,
fabulous keeper.
He's a fabulous keeper, and I think Arneslot has done a little bit of a job on him this offseason because we knew that he wanted to leave and get first team football. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, I would have thought he'd be gone by now if that were going to happen. So he was obviously our first choice in the preseason in America. Alisson wasn't with the team. And it just feels like Caoimhin Kelleher is here to stay.
I think there's potentially some incentive on the basis that Alisson may be interested in Saudi at some point. And I know Liverpool are looking at future-proofing Alisson's position with the keeper Mohamedashvili, the Georgian goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Which means Kelleher potentially has a shot at becoming Liverpool number 1, I believe.
How do you feel about that rumor for Al? I feel like Alisson is still the best goalkeeper in the world. Why would he leave? I don't understand that rumor. I really don't.
I think sometimes when you get to an age and you've won everything, Alisson's never going to transfer to someone like a Real Madrid who has a keeper there, Man City who has a keeper there. I believe that maybe he'll want to put some more money in the bank and have a nice life. I think that could simply come down to just, I've done everything, time to go and enjoy the sun.
Yeah, potentially. He's 31. I mean, in goalkeeper years, he could still potentially play at the top level for 5-6 years easily.
Van der Sar played till 40, maybe even into his 40s.
Yeah.
Which tells you the lifespan of a goalkeeper is, his reaction time is it's crazy.
Yeah. But Alisson has so many of those intangibles of positioning and just so much to his game. I hope he stays. I hope he stays around for honestly another 3, 4, 5 years. So, what do you think about this third goalkeeper spot? Is this Jaros? Who's filling this position?
I like Jaros.
Yeah.
This guy, when he played against Manchester United, his distribution was second to none. His kicking was unbelievable. And he looks almost like a mirror image of Kelleher. Just really calm and composed, but amazing with his feet.
Yeah.
And his passing I was very impressed with his passing in that Manchester United game.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So we've got 3 goalkeepers. Are any of those considered homegrown? I think Kelleher is, correct? Caoimhin Kelleher is considered at least he was last season. So I'm going to put a little star there. Whoops. There we go. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that he is considered homegrown.
Kelleher's Irish. I'm not too sure whether that's considered homegrown, but I think he may have. I don't know whether or not he's come through the academy.
Yeah, I think he has. I'm looking at the official LiverpoolFC.com website, and they've listed him as a homegrown player. So I think we're good there. All right, let's move into the defense. Obviously, Captain Virgil van Dijk is in there. I'm going to put Kwanzaa. I personally consider Gerald Kwanzaa our number 2 center back. I would love to see him be the guy next to Van Dijk this season, with Konate being a very suitable, third choice center back. We've got some good talent there. Other center backs, Aaron, who am I missing here?
You currently have Sepp van der Berg.
Yeah.
Which, if you believe the papers and the outlets, that he is potentially surplus to requirements. I rate him. I think he's had some really good seasons in Germany, and if Liverpool don't want to cash in on him, I believe in them 4 plus a Gomez.
Yeah,
I believe you have 5. I think you have 5 really good centre backs.
Yeah, Sepp Vandenberg, probably not good enough to be Liverpool's first or second choice, but a 5th choice center back. I think he's very suitable. Very suitable. Has good, top level experience in Germany, and I think he could do a good job. Maybe he can come in the cup games. He can come in as needed for some of the bigger competitions, but I would have no issues with that. Why go out and, unless you're trying to find a top drawer center back, why sell someone and just find somebody similar to him and just keep him? Save yourself the trouble. So, all right. So we've got Sepp Vandenberg on our 25-man roster. That's interesting. Let's get into some of the wing backs here. We've got Trent. We've got Robbo. Who else? I think
got to be Bradley.
Yes, Connor Bradley.
For me, Bradley's an exceptional defensive right back.
He is an unbelievably good player. I remember we were actually last season, we were driving to California, and it was against Chelsea, and it was Connor Bradley's coming out moment where he's assist, goal, assist. I was like, what? Who is this kid? This kid is ridiculous. He's so good. And that's considering Trent and Robertson, who we're used to, right, for the last, 5-6 years. And then this kid comes in and is like, whoa, we've got another, world-class right back here on our hands.
Trent, actually, he had quite a tough season last year in terms of numbers.
Yeah.
Because obviously he set such a high bar, him and Robbo, over the past 5 seasons. Their numbers have been phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
But Bradley, in the space of about 5 games, was only about 1 or 2 assists and goals behind Trent.
Yeah.
He had 5 games where he was assist, double assist, goal.
Yeah.
His numbers were excellent within them that short space of about 5 games.
And it's no wonder. He's obviously gotten to learn from the best. He's gotten to train alongside of Trent and Robbo, and of course, why top talent who gets to learn from the best. So fantastic. I am so curious to see what arneslot does with the Connor Bradley, Trent Alexander-Arnold conundrum. It's a very good conundrum to have because I think you have 2 world-class right backs on your hands, and I think the way that arneslot can be creative with those 2 is going to be really fun to watch. Okay, who else? Are we missing anyone on the defensive side?
I would put Beck in there, but I think Beck is coveted by a number of really good, Scottish teams.
Okay.
He's a great player, in my opinion. Fantastic player, fantastic young talent. But I think he may go to. I think he might end up at Celtic. Because, he's that good.
On loan or a permanent deal?
I think on a loan. I think because he's a future starter.
I think so too. I'm going to leave him off for now. If we need an extra guy, maybe he makes the squad. This gives us 5 center backs. 2 left backs, 2 right backs, and then obviously the Gomez Swiss Army knife who can come in and fill in wherever is needed. All right, let's jump into our midfield package here. I'm going to put McAllister in here. Do we dare put Zubimendi in here? I think we kind of have to.
I'd love to.
Let's do it. There's just too many reputable sources that are claiming this is the guy. Now, obviously, we know even from last summer that reputable sources do not mean that the deal is done. But considering how long Liverpool have waited, it feels like they should be able to get their guy, and we will find out soon enough, I'm sure. All right. I'm going to continue to add guys in here. Szoboszlai, if I can spell it correctly. I think I did it right there. I think Jones is going to be in there. A lot of people have been slating Jones. Listen, I don't think he's necessarily in our starting lineup for the majority of games, but I think Curtis Jones is a fantastic player. Especially when you consider he's homegrown, he's English, he fits a lot of categories that Liverpool need, and he's a very good midfielder, kind of one of those Swiss Army knife type players. And I think he's got a future at Liverpool under Arne Slot.
I think he's a hard worker. You know, through the comments and what have you, I've kind of given my opinion on Jones. Listen, I think he's a great footballer. Technically, I think he's an excellent footballer. I'd just like to see a little bit more from him. I'd like him to have a little bit more, maybe, confidence in, you know, trying things a bit more, because he had a period last season where he was getting assists and goals.
Yeah,
he had maybe a 10-game period.
Yeah,
where he looked really good.
Really good.
And I was like, this is the Curtis Jones I want to see.
He was potentially our most important player for that 10-game stretch. I remember that. Yeah,
pressing was unreal.
Yeah. And when he went out, I remember, like, I think he got that red card, he got suspended, and then he got injured, and it was like, all right, when Curtis Jones is not in here, we're not the same team. Now, obviously, that didn't span across the whole season. He got injured, and then when he came back, there were issues. But I think there's a lot of potential there for Curtis Jones.
You want to put Gomez, Quansah, Robbo, and Bradley as homegrown?
Are they?
Quansah's English.
So I think the homegrown thing is, like, it's not necessarily just English, is it? Or does that?
I believe homegrown is English or academy players.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I say English. British or academy players.
Yeah.
I believe.
So Bradley, I think, would probably qualify as well.
Yeah, because he's Northern Irish.
So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already. I think 7 with Jones. I think we'll be just fine. Harvey Elliott is our 8th. I think there's some really exciting things to come for Harvey Elliott. He is incredible at age 21. I think, what is he? He's already got over 100 caps for Liverpool, which is just insane. Just absolutely insane what this kid's already been able to do.
His ability is phenomenal.
Yeah.
For me, I love McAllister, but I would rather see McAllister sit next to Zubimendi and Elliott sit behind a Darwin Núñez type character in a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
His passing, his little neat, intricate passing.
Yeah.
For me, it's the best in the team.
Yeah. He is. In the past 6 to 9 months, Harvey Elliott has become, like, almost unstartable, or almost not unstartable.
Oh, definitely. He's an assist monster. I think he is. I think he's got the most assists in England this calendar year.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat line. We might have to look at that. He also was kind of Liverpool's savior late last season before kind of our collapse. He was kind of the super sub that would come in and score some late goals. So he can do it all. And I think Klopp was trying to figure out where he was best positioned. He put him out on the right wing. That didn't really work. And then when he found his spot, kind of in that number 10 role, he flourished. So he's only 21 years old. I can't believe it. Like, this kid is ridiculous. And he's got, another probably decade in Liverpool's first team, which is just insane. He's going to break records. All right, we'll move on. Gravenberch. What do you think about Ryan Gravenberch, Aaron? What are your thoughts on him?
Silky. I like him.
Very smooth.
He had a tough start, but then I start to see things from him. The way he turns on the ball, he just turns away from defenders.
Yeah.
And in that midfield, one thing that I like about Gravenberch is the way he takes the ball on the move. So he kind of turns with the ball. We don't have a lot of players that turn with the ball. We have a lot of players that, will pick the ball up with their back to goal and maybe lay it back or pass it sideways. Gravenberch, he takes it in his stride and he turns with the ball. I think if we see the best of this guy, I remember watching him 2 or 3 years ago and thinking this guy is exceptional. It just didn't work out at Bayern Munich. But I'm starting to see things from Gravenberch, which I really, really like.
You can see the inherent skills there that sometimes you feel like you can't teach, and just the ability to have that sixth sense on the pitch and know where the opposition is before you even receive the ball, and that first touch to just put the ball into space and take it on. I think there's so much talent here, and if Zubimendi comes in, arneslot, like, how does he find time for all of these players? Like, I'm looking at these and I'm like, okay, you can't not start Alexis McAllister. And if Zubimendi's in, like, you have to start Zubimendi, and you have to start Szoboszlai, and you have to start Elliott. Like, how are all these players going to get playing time? I know we'll have a decent amount next season with Champions League football and all that, but I feel like the midfield for Liverpool right now is our strongest position. We just have so much talent there. That's really exciting. Really, really exciting.
I think the attack could become exciting.
It could.
There's so much potential there.
Yeah.
It hasn't been unleashed yet.
Yeah. So let's talk about the attack. We've got Mohamed Salah. We've got Gakpo. I'm not sure why this Salah is so far ahead here. There we go. We've got Diaz, who I kind of thought we were going to sell, but I think it's a little late for that now. I feel like Luis Diaz is going to stay. Do you feel the same way, Aaron?
I do. Not because I think Liverpool would sell him. I know he's loved by a lot of Liverpool fans. I really like him. I mean, one stat I don't, I think he struggles in front of goal. I think he lashes at the ball sometimes. He does all the hard work and then maybe doesn't have that composure with the finish, which in Portugal, his finishing was excellent.
Yeah.
And I think when he came to us, he was the top goal scorer at that current stage in January in the Portuguese Football League.
Yeah.
Like Nunes was actually when he came to us.
Yeah.
He was the top goal scorer as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, Diaz, if he can get that finishing right, I mean, he is exciting on ball, and he plays like a South American. He has that aggression and that fire.
Yeah.
And I love him. I just wish his output started to reflect the ability that he has.
Yeah, his footwork, I think, is second to none on the team. Excellent. The way that, I mean, we saw that in the Copa America this season or this summer, the way that he would just glide through defenders. I mean, it's just, as a defender, I used to play football. I used to be a defender, and players like him were just, I mean, they would drive me nuts because, and obviously I never played against a player of his quality, but the type of player he is, where it's like, it's almost impossible to get the ball off of his foot. If he can find that missing kind of final third piece, which honestly, the way that Liverpool played this summer here in America under arneslot, it might be a lot easier for him to find the back of the net because of the way that we're going to play. It won't be like, all right, here you go, Luis Diaz, take the ball and try to beat 4 players and score. There were times last season where he was kind of required to do that because of all of our injuries. The way that arneslot wants to be more fluid, less 1v1s, and really just, I think it was Curtis Jones said about him, just kill the opponents with the ball. So we have, I mean, look at each of these 5 names here: Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, Jota. All 5 could be Golden Boot winners, right? I mean, literally any one of those 5 could score 20 to 25 goals in a season. Maybe Jota not as much because of his injury record, but we have incredible attackers here. And I think, Aaron, it seems like you and I are on the same page, where I think most excited about Darwin Núñez. What are your thoughts on him, Aaron? Do you feel like this season will be the one for Darwin Núñez?
I think he gets a lot of stick.
Yeah.
Maybe rightly so as well. I think, sometimes he does deserve, some of the criticism that comes his way, but you cannot fault this man's effort. I think the way he throws himself around on a pitch is incredible. He gets himself in them goal-scoring opportunities. He might not be the most composed guy in front of goal.
Yeah.
But he gets himself there all the time. And his numbers could be comparable to Erling Haaland.
Absolutely.
If he could simply put the ball away. And that's the hardest part, is putting the ball in the back of the net. So I think if Núñez... listen, Bielsa for Uruguay right now has Darwin Núñez. I think he's 9 goals in 7 games.
Yeah.
He's obviously doing something right with him.
Yeah.
So if Liverpool can tap into that Bielsa trick, and start maybe feeding the ball across the box to Núñez, and he just gets on the end of it. I think Klopp asked a lot of them.
He did.
A lot of running.
Yeah.
If we can start whipping balls into him, which I thought I thought the service that Trent would be giving Núñez, I could only see Núñez getting 30 goals.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen like that in the end.
Even for Uruguay, there were missed chances. But if you think about the type of player Darwin Núñez is, I don't know if I've ever seen a striker produce more chances than him. He is, literally in each game, there are, it seems like, 3 to 4 to 5 big chances. Now, sometimes he misses all of those big chances. But you look at the slim margins that if, an inch or two here or there, whether it's the shot coming off the woodwork or he was, offsides by a half a foot, 6 inches, Darwin Núñez, if Slot can come in and make fine-tune adjustments, which historically, that is one of Arne Slot's things that he does. He did that with, was it Jimenez at Feyenoord, and he has that track record with other specifically attacking players too. Players who he saw had potential, sometimes it's just mental adjustments. And I think that's what it is with Darwin Núñez. If he can figure out how to unlock him to say, all right, when you're on the back, the back line of their defense, count in your head to 2 before you run. Darwin Núñez doesn't need that head start. He is so much quicker and faster than any defender he's going to come up against. And then how do you retool his mental approach to just finishing? And almost just like take a deep breath, just slow down.
You can see the fire, can't you? You can see that fire in him.
Oh, absolutely.
He's ready for a fight.
Absolutely.
One thing I like about Núñez is he doesn't let his head go down. And he set a lot of negative records last season. I think he set the record for hitting the woodwork the most times in a single game. Yeah. He also set the record for the most chances in a Premier League game as well. I think it was 13 chances in a game. With something like 8 on target, and he walked away from that game without a goal. Yeah. It's incredible.
It is. At some point, you would think just by the law of averages that some of those are going to start going in. And again, I think, Darwin Núñez, he's had some very easy chances missed. He's also had some just really difficult chances that he figures out a way to put them on frame and they get saved. He's also been point blank with goalkeepers, and I swear, like, these goalkeepers, he makes them look like, prime Casillas, because, part of that is Darwin Núñez sometimes hitting the ball straight at them. Sometimes it's just like he managed to find their foot that was for some reason sticking out. And so anyways, I feel like Darwin Núñez, he could be the key. I mean, he could be the key this season to Liverpool winning hardware in Arne Slot's first season. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you look at this team, and obviously Liverpool have currently made no signings. We hope Zubimendi comes in. But this is the same team that Liverpool had last season. I don't see a reason why they can't go out and win a trophy this season. So I think Darwin Núñez could be the key, because if Liverpool have a Darwin Núñez who, like you said, Aaron, can score 30 goals, that's a big difference. That's a big difference. And he's not the only guy, obviously, who can do that. There are 4 or 5 others on the team who can go do that. So, all right, Aaron, we've got one more spot. Who are we giving the final spot to on Liverpool's 25-man roster?
I'd love to give that spot to Anthony Gordon.
Oh, you're getting greedy now.
Very greedy. Very greedy. And he's a Liverpool fan. I'd like to give to Anthony Gordon. But if, let's say, for instance, Anthony Gordon is more likely to be next season's signing because he'd be in the final year of his contract, which probably sounds a little bit more like an FSG route of signing a player.
Yeah.
For me, if you were to bring another attacker in, I'd bring in, for me, Jayden Danns. I think he's exceptional. So I
think Danns is already out on loan.
Did he go to Plymouth Argyle? I haven't seen if he went.
I believe so, yeah. And I think he's out on loan, which is, I had the same thought. It was like, I'd love to see that kid come in and get some cup games. But I do think he's officially out on loan.
Playing under Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
So that could be amazing for Jayden Danns. That Liverpool connection, not necessarily. He's an Everton fan, obviously. Jayden Danns is a Liverpool fan, but Wayne Rooney being the striker that he was,
right?
Could really rub off on a Jayden Danns.
Yep. So he's out on loan. So really, we've got a decision here. I would think we'd want one more attacker. Is it Carvalho? Is it Ben Doak? What do you think about Fabio Carvalho? Did he do enough in the preseason to warrant sticking around?
I think he did. Yeah, and I think it's all well doing it in preseason.
Yeah.
Carvalho has gone to RB Leipzig, and it didn't quite work out.
Yep.
But he played at Hull last season, and he scored regularly in the second half of the last season at Hull.
He looked good.
This guy knows where the back of the net is. He's composed. For me, I think he would be... listen, I think because Trainioni is only 16, 17 years old, he's automatically included in the squad anyway as an under-21s player and an academy product. So you don't need to name him in a 25-man squad. But yeah, for me, Carvalho, I would put him in there. I think Doak will go on loan.
Yeah.
There was discussions about whether or not he would, be sold. But for me, to sell him without really seeing what he can do wouldn't be a great move by Liverpool. I think Liverpool see if this guy's going to get.
I like Ben Doak. I think he's a very electric player. I'd love to see what he can do in a full season elsewhere with more regular playing time. I'd love to make sure that he can stay healthy for a full year. He hasn't done that yet. But I think he is a big talent, and he's got some of those intangibles. He's not afraid. He's quick. He's tenacious. He's kind of a little monster. And I think he'd be a great player if he can figure out just one or two things.
If he goes to a Southampton or a Leicester and becomes a very important player for them, for me, as a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't want to sell him. Yeah. I'd be saying he is a natural right winger.
Yep.
And he might not be ready in 2 seasons to take over from Salah. You might have to bring someone in, but he'd be a great addition to an attack line. If we were to bring an Anthony Gordon in, let's say, and add an informed Ben Doak to an already really good attack.
Yeah.
You might not miss Salah as much as we think. I know Salah gets a lot of goals.
He does.
But, you turn the likes of an Anthony Gordon into a 15-goal-a-season guy, a Jota into a 15, 20-goal-a-season guy, Núñez into a 30-goal-a-season guy. You don't need many more players to score many more goals.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, Aaron. Final task here. Let's pick our starting 11. If we were the most important game of the season, we need a starting 11 from this list. We'll make him this teal color. I'll start picking the obvious ones here. Alisson, Van Dijk. Are you of the same mindset that Kwanzaa should be the starting center back alongside of Van Dijk?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good. I agree.
I just think Kwanzaa he's just so calm.
Yeah, he is. Konate makes me nervous.
They remind me a little bit of a Sami Hyypiä and Daniel Agger partnership.
Yeah. That's a good comp. Yeah, the raw talent of Konate, the speed, the power is there. He just makes me nervous. He's a little reckless. Yeah, there were a few challenges last season where I'm like, ooh, that's either a really good tackle or a red card. So I think Konate's great, but I'd love to see Kwanzaa solidify himself as the number 2 guy there alongside of Van Dijk. I think, well, we've got a decision to make here. Trent, Robbo, Bradley. I think when healthy, it's still Andy Robertson's position.
Guaranteed.
What do you do with Trent and Bradley? Is Trent still your starting right back?
I think he'll start Trent.
Yeah.
And I have one opinion on why he'll start Trent, is because I think Trent will move into that double pivot role.
Yeah.
Alongside McAllister, and maybe push McAllister on to join in with the attack, and then sit back with the Zubimendi where they can just be the ball players.
Yeah.
And I believe you might not see both fullbacks charging down the wings this season, where I feel if Trent goes, I believe you might see Robbo tuck in and the back line become a 3 and be harder to beat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's so much you can do with Trent. Put him in the double pivot. You could even have him move up into more of the Salah type role if you need, or the 8 or 10 role.
I've said that for so long.
There's so much you can do with him. I mean, you have a Trent on the right side of your attack. I mean, that's just a recipe for so many goals from our front line. He's not as quick or able to beat players 1v1 like a Salah, but crossing wise, man, just watch out. So, okay, we've got Van Dijk, Kwanzaa, Trent, Robbo here. Bradley certainly could be a starter, but I think what I'd love to see, and I loved when Klopp did this last season, where late in the game, maybe the 70th minute mark, Trent started to creep up the field. You put Connor Bradley in, and now you've got Trent with somewhat fresh legs joining the attack. And we saw that against Manchester City when he scored to force a draw. And we've seen obviously his brilliance in not only passing, but being able to score. So Trent is a fascinating talent for somebody like an arneslot to utilize creatively. Let's jump into the midfield. I think we've got some difficult decisions here. We are going to look here at, so McAllister, I think, has to be starting alongside, and we're just assuming, maybe it's not super smart to assume, but we're assuming Zubimendi is our guy. Now, what do you do? Maybe we need to go to the attack first and say, all right, who's starting in attack? I think it's Salah. I think it's Nunez. I think he'll be our starting number 9. And who do you choose between Gakpo and Diaz?
Gakpo.
Okay.
Whilst Gakpo is on so much form, he had a great end to the season. For me, I thought he was possibly our best player in the last 10 games of last season. He's had such a good Euros.
Yeah.
He's scoring goals. He was potentially player of the tournament.
Yep.
He ended up joint top goal scorer in the tournament, playing on the left side of a 4-2-3-1.
Yep.
I mean, that just makes sense to me.
It does. It does. And I think you could start Diaz as well. I would just think that Gakpo is a little bit more consistent, and he's a little bit more of an arneslot type player, a little bit more calm and collected, perhaps a better passer, and maybe a little bit more clinical in front of goal. And of course, you've got the Dutch connection there as well. So I agree with this. I would love to see this 3 kind of form that front three partnership that we've been so used to over the past 7-8 years. So now, Aaron, we have a decision to make for kind of that number 8 or number 10 role ahead of the double pivot. Is it Szoboszlai? Is it Elliott? I would think those two would be the two that would contend for that spot. What do you think?
I can only see Elliott.
Yeah?
I think this guy's talent. I mean, like you said, and you've mentioned it a few times, he's 21.
Yeah.
He's got 100 games. He made his debut at 16, playing top flight football. And I think this guy is an assist monster. And I think playing behind a striker with those intricate passes and that dink over the top to Carvalho, exceptional.
Yes. I have a hard time not starting Dominik Szoboszlai. I really do. That's a tough one for me because I feel like this guy he's a Rolls Royce. He is a top player. But I think, I don't know.
I worry about his form. I think towards the second half of the season plus the Euros, he hasn't had a great 6 months, let's say.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think Elliott is the more informed player, even in America this summer. All right, I'll agree with you. There's our starting 11 with loads of talent, I would say, waiting in the wings. You've got Diaz, Jota,
look at the bench.
Gravenberch, Jones, Szoboszlai, Bajetic, Connor Bradley. I mean, there's a whole nother 11 there, starting 11. I think you could feel
very good 11 as well.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it at that. Liverpool's 25-man squad. Of course, a big assumption there with Zubimendi coming in. We hope that is true, but we'll leave it at that. Of course, we'd love to know what you think about what we put together here. Put it below in the comments. We'll have a civil discussion. And until next time, for my friend Aaron, up the Reds.